Hello again. This is my third part to just put some music on in the background. Um, to my videos I've been doing about this corrupt system. That's all I can call it. The system has been corrupted all over the world, not just in the UK, in America, in Syria, everywhere where it's all going on. It's um, it's so hard to sort of get into and explain. Um, but this whole harassment thing, it's killing loads of people. I'm wondering what has happened to all the people that have been labelled as targeted individuals. That I've seen no activity on their accounts for like 4 or 5 years, or some a couple of years, and it makes me wonder what's happened to them. Have they been killed off? Why is there no response from them? I've messaged some and there's no response. And then you check on the messages and stuff like that. No responses for like 4 years. What? Why would they just suddenly stop making videos? I hope that doesn't happen to me and others that I've been talking to. It's scary. It's scary what is happening in the UK, let alone overseas, where people are getting blown up left, right, and centre. And in Russia, where there's still radiation pouring out, and in Fukushima, where all the radioactive materials have probably gone into the sea and is probably mutating fish, and then the fish are going to be eaten by people and so on, and they're going to become radioactive. Maybe we're all full of radiation as it is, I don't know. But I know these radioactive materials have half-life of 50 million years or so. Different ones depending on what they are, but they have long half-lives, way longer than humans have been on the planet. So what's going to happen to us when some form of radiation gets into the air? I don't know. I'm just a worrier with things like that. Yeah, I'm just worried. I don't really know what to do to sort of contact the people that have just stopped making the videos. They've just suddenly stopped. What's happened to them? Where have they gone? Have they been killed off? Have they died of like a natural cause, which might not be natural? I think they're killing us off slowly and very cleverly. I don't know. What was I trying to say? Yeah, with the whole thing, the whole sensitizing of us, the whole. I ended up going to prison, and I don't think I'd have gone to prison if. I don't think that the situation would have come about if the whole harassment thing wasn't happening to me. I wouldn't have been in that situation. I wouldn't have been in that place. I probably wouldn't even be living here in this area. I don't think it would have happened anyway. But I went to prison for quite a long time. But the way I was arrested, the way I was found, I don't know what happened to me. All I know is I woke up in jail. I had a head injury with a bleed on the brain, which they didn't know at the time. I'd been rushed to the hospital, apparently, and I'd apparently done a cognitive test to see if everything was alright, like look in different directions and stuff, and apparently I did perfectly with that test. But then I was complaining of these pains in my head and everything, so they took me back to hospital from the police station, and I had a bleed on the brain. My brain was bleeding. I was that badly injured. My head had been belted something rotten. I had scars. I've still got the scars now. You won't be able to see them much on here, luckily. But the back of my head had been smashed, more or less. It had been, well, it had been forcefully beaten that much to cause a bleed on my brain. My back teeth were sticking through. There was scar on my chin and my jaw. I'd been hit with something metallic. Well, I was put in prison with the bleed. I'd had scans and that, and apparently the bleeding had gone down. So they took me straight. I went to court, and then they took me straight to prison because of the severity of the offence that I committed. It was a very violent offence that I'd committed before this nasty accident had happened to me. I don't know who did it. I don't know how it happened. I just remember with the bleed on the brain. Put me in the hospital wing in the prison, and I could barely move. The pain was unimaginable. The pain in my head was so severe. I couldn't move. I was just laying there. A prison officer got me to sweep the floor in the room, and I was that messed up. Moving my head, I could feel all the blood rushing up into my brain, and it was like boiling water being poured on my brain, even though the brain doesn't have any nerves. It was terrible. I was hallucinating and everything, and they kept me on that hospital wing for about a week, and then I went into the normal wings in the prison, and I was there I was sentenced to 14 months, which was, considering the severity of what I'd done, it was quite a good result. So then I'm thinking, well, the system's not too bad with that, but the trouble is there's so much corruption embedded in it. So trust issues, it's hard to know who you're gonna trust. But I was very thankful to just get 14 months, because the charge I was looking at first was attempted murder. So yeah, it was quite a severe one. So I feel very lucky for that. But I thought I was going to die. I thought I was dead in that prison wing. I thought that was it. I was hallucinating so much. I mean, I was seeing things moving on the walls and all sorts. I thought I'd been drugged with LSD in the food that had been given to me in prison, which could have been or some sort of hallucinogenic drug, because the brain doesn't just start hallucinating like that from a head injury. I wouldn't have thought anyway. But it could well have been the head injury causing some sort of crazy reaction. But they moved me onto a normal wing, and I didn't know what was going on. I was so dizzy. I could barely walk. I was walking, and it was like I had tunnel vision. The head was such a mess. I still thought I was going to die. I couldn't even pay attention to any of the other prisoners. It just seemed a blur. It was like I was in a dream. It was so weird. At one point I thought the prison was a big ship. I was in a big ship. That's how bad the head injury was. But this stuff started way before the head injury. But I seemed to get on alright there. It was just messed up. But I know never to sort of react out to anything. I don't react to any of the things that trigger me off. Well, I try not to. Not outwardly react anyway, but I still think about the things that are happening. But like, I'm very sorry for what I did, for the violent offence. I have to add, this doesn't make it any better. Well, it makes it a bit better. The guy was a wife beater. He had a criminal record longer than my arm. He had just continuous batteries. It was battery, criminal damage, battery. So he'd been, and that was all to his girlfriend. So he was quite a bad person. So look, it wasn't an innocent person that I nearly killed. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that. Everyone says they're innocent of all crimes. No one's innocent of everything. We've all done bad in our lives. We've all done bad, and we've all done good. And I think best thing to do is try and focus on the good things, but talk about the bad things. I don't really want to hide anything from people. If someone asks me a question, I'll tell them the truth. What I don't want is this spying state and the way these mind control operations go on. That's what I don't want in this country and overseas. Thank you.